We'll begin with breaking news out of California on a case we've been keeping a close eye on. An Orange County jury has found two Fullerton police officers not guilty of killing Kelly Thomas, a schizophrenic homeless man, in 2011. The incident was captured on surveillance video.
Get on the ground. Oh, dude.
Here you can see and hear Kelly screaming in pain and pleading for officers to stop as he's being tased. And this photograph shows what Kelly looked like after the beating. 5 days after the incident, he died. Now, these are the two police officers charged in this case coming up. Manuel Ramos and Jay Cicinelli were charged with beating Kelly with a baton and tasing him unconscious. Ramos was charged with second-degree murder. Both officers were charged with involuntary manslaughter. For the latest on this case, RT's Ramon Galindo joins us now. Hi, Ramon. So what led to the jury to find these two officers not guilty?
Well, it took less than 2 days of deliberations for the 8 men and 4 women of the jury to acquit Manuel Ramos and Jay Cicinelli of the killing of Kelly Thomas. According to the prosecutor, after the verdicts were read, Tony Rakakis, he said that the jurors decided that the conduct of Ramos and Cicinelli didn't amount to being unreasonable enough to be in a violation of the law. Now, all along, the defense argued that the officers acted as that they were trained to do, and obviously the jury sided with the defense here.
Yeah, looks like that's exactly what happened. I know, Ramon, that Kelly Thomas's parents have been at the forefront of this case. What is their reaction?
Right. Well, when the verdicts were being read, according to everyone in the courtroom, Kelly's mother, Kathy Thomas, just started breaking down and sobbing. Afterwards, she went on and told the media that her son was murdered and that there was no justice in this case. Ron Thomas, the father of Kelly Thomas, also very angry. He came out and gave this quote to the press: "Where do we really find justice anymore in our justice system? It's been proven right here today that they will get away with it. They will get away with it." Now, he hopes that the Department of Justice steps in and goes after these former police officers, but for the time being, the district attorney there in Orange County doesn't see that happening.
Do you see a civil case happening, Ramon? Is there talk about that?
Right. Well, Ron Thomas has filed a civil suit against the police department and the city of Fullerton. He said that he does plan to move forward with that civil suit. The city has already settled with Kelly Thomas's mother for $1 million. However, Ron Thomas is moving forward with a separate suit himself.
Now, this trial, Ramon, has had a huge effect on this California town. Can you tell us some of the consequences of Kelly Thomas's death and the controversy that ensued?
Right. For weeks, there were protests outside of the Fullerton Police Department. For several weeks, concerned residents were coming to city council meetings just angry and yelling at the city council, eventually recalling 3 of the council members. And the police chief there in Fullerton at the time of the beating ended up retiring early. There was so much backlash and anger in the community about how this beating was treated, and there was this image that the city and the police chief were projecting these officers. Now, a guilty verdict would have been unprecedented. Never has a police officer been convicted of murder while on duty, and that's still the case. And it's very rare for that to happen to a police officer in these cases of a very strong force.
And a third officer, I understand, is awaiting trial for his involvement in this case. What's the latest on that, and what implications does this verdict have on that case?
Well, this verdict is huge when it comes to the case of Joe Wolf, who was scheduled to be tried separately this year. Now that Cincinnati and Ramos have been found not guilty, District Attorney Tony Rokaka says that he's not going to retry these officers, and he says that there's really no need to try Officer Joe Wolf because he fears that he's going to get the same result, an acquittal ultimately.
Interesting. Ramon, appreciate you for staying on top of this case. That was RT's Ramon Galindo.